Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Shadowrunnin on Empty. Got another full house for you tonight as we are all here to talk about the mystical, magical Emerald Isles. With us as always, we have Tyler. How you doing this week, sir?
I am doing pretty fine and dandy. Wow, I slipped deep Texas for a weird second. This is we were talking about character voices earlier, and I kind of got lost in the sauce on that. But that being said, oh boy, segue of a lifetime incoming. I want more of that sauce, Daddy-O. So easy. What are we delving into today? Flawless.
Flawless changeover. I loved it. Pack your bags and make sure that your visas are up to date. Make sure you've checked in with your correct immigration office, because we're going on a journey just south of the border from Seattle to the little known nation of Tairngire. I think I said it right. You guys can check my Gaelic if you want, but
Can we spell that out for the audience?
Oh, jeez.
Last time, I swear. I have it pulled up if you would like.
So the spelling is T-I-R space Tairngire.
And because we're all a bunch of savages who are no longer native to the homeland, we're probably gonna, just for convenience sake, pronounce it as Tairngire, because that's how we've been saying it this whole time.
That is how we have been saying it, yes.
And it's significantly easier, but we did want to give the proper pronunciation out there for everybody, so that way, we're not phonies. We do know sometimes what we're talking about, but
I know what I don't know.
And what I don't know is Gaelic, so at least on my end, I will probably be still referring to it as Tairngire.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm kind of doing this on purpose / not on purpose because my brain is smooth. But I'm probably going to pronounce it a different way every single time.
Please do.
Okay, I will remember / not remember to do that.
Okay. That's how we make sure that we get you on the list so you can never visit Ireland, because,
Yay! Blacklisted again!
I hope that's what you do, because so many people pronounce this so many different ways.
What can I say? I'm a voice of the people.
Well,
very ignorant.
So proud.
People. I'm so proud of how ignorant I am, guys. Quote me on that. Don't quote me on that.
Unfortunately, you have now been quoted.
No! Hey, Ma, look, I'm on TV.
Hey, look at me.
Been canceled. Okay.
I'm canceled. All right. Well, first off, let's put you in the right region. This tier, we can also call it the Land of Promise, because that's what the Gaelic translation actually is.
Really?
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be, the Land of Promise.
So tier is just land?
I think, yes, tier is supposed to be Gaelic for land.
Because all of them, the other ones begin with tier, right? Like Tir na nog.
Yeah, Tir na nog, which is,
so I'm
pretty sure that's Land of the Fae is what it translates to.
Oh boy, let's open the valve on the corrections. Let's just do it. Just throw it all against the wall. See what sticks.
I'm actually checking for you right now.
We like to keep ourselves up to date, folks.
According to this, in Gaelic, land is talam.
Oh, okay.
Are there other terms for it, though?
I don't know.
Like, we don't just say cup. I mean, we must say cup, but we said like chalice or grail or whatever the hell. Like, there could be multiple words for it. Perfect example, of course.
Yeah, this does also say that tier translates to land. Tier from Irish to English. T-I-R is land.
Okay. Yeah. Checkmate on part 1. According to my search here for the meaning of Tir na nog, it translates to the land of the young.
The land of the young? That's the new one? Or the one we're talking about?
No, that is the one that is Ireland. Is Tir na nog.
Oh, that's what that is. Land of the Young is Tirnanog.
Yes, Land of Promise is
Tairngire.
Tairngire. I'm gonna stick with that because that's what was originally told to me when I first started playing Shadowrun, and I saw this word, and I looked at my GM and I went, "Please explain."
Oh, here's a little bit of fun fact for you.
Ooh, I like fun facts.
In Irish mythology, Tir na Nog, Land of the Young, also known as Tir na Hoig, Land of Youth, is one of the names for the Celtic otherworld. So it's basically the Celtic variation of like you said, it's like the land of the Fae is what it seems like. Yeah.
like Avalon or something like that.
Yeah.
In the British Isles myth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Can I share my fun fact I looked up?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay. Like all baby marsupials, baby possums are called joeys, and those pouches that marsupials are so well known for are a key part of the joey's development. Right? We're all looking up like awesome facts, right? I came to the right podcast today.
No, I'm sorry. We weren't looking up possum facts or Nova possum facts.
Go Nova possums. We're going to nationals this year, baby.
That was a previous episode. I'm sorry you missed your opportunity.
No, it's okay. That was my way of showing my support for the best team in urban brawl. Nova possums, where are you at?
I appreciate you. So to put you in the right area, like I was saying, for the Land of Promise, we are going to have to go and look at formerly Oregon. This area was at one time Oregon. The actual borders of the Land of Promise trace the original borders of Oregon. There's a small little dip into Idaho. There's a slight piece of land from Nevada, and then just a little bit of the upper part of California, and that is making up the tier.
I mean, pretty much all of that except for California, I feel like they could have easily taken, and I don't think anybody really would have cared. They could probably have taken most of Idaho, and they still would have been okay. Same with Nevada, as long as they left Reno and Vegas alone, they probably would have been fine.
Well, yeah, they didn't get as far down to Reno and Vegas. That's still under the control of the Pueblo Corporate Council.
Yeah. But it's like outside of Reno and Vegas, it's like, yeah, and then the rest of Nevada is just desert. So you might as well, man, take it. Take the land, do something with it.
Basically what they got was the upper northwestern little corner piece of Nevada that is just basically desert.
Not gonna lie, I totally forgot that this tier was in the North Americas. That I was imagining they were on some like weird island in the Bermuda Triangle or something, you know?
No, that makes sense. Most people do forget that this tier exists in North America. Originally, this whole area was divided into different NAN territories, except for California, obviously, which is California Free State.
Mm-hmm.
But Oregon and Idaho are all supposed to be part of the Salish Sheed Council. And then that little corner of Nevada that who really cares is technically was owned by the Pueblo Corporate Council. I'm sure they don't mind losing some desert. It's not like they were doing a whole lot with it anyway.
Or
I mean, that is where the Sheldon National Antelope Refuge is. So I mean, as long as they kept that intact, I think
you making that up? Is that real?
According to Map of Nevada, yeah.
My God.
That is amazing.
Didn't they have like a fun fact multiplier applied to Austin on every episode? This man, I'll bring up something so obscure and I'll have so much information about it that I'm like, I didn't even know somebody could know that much about this subject.
Right. So how did the tier come to be? I know that's the question that you're asking yourself now.
I have been.
Well, normally somebody becomes overwhelmed with emotion, usually sadness, sometimes joy.
and then they just start leaking out of your face.
And then it just excretes from...
okay, I don't like that term. You found the term I did not like to describe crying. I'm
That's
excreting tears.
such an accurate term, though.
My excretion.
If
My
you're-
emotional excretion.
If you're excretion, wait, excrete. I can't even say the word anymore.
Excruciating?
Excretion.
Uh-huh.
If you are excruciating for more than 4 hours, contact your local doctor.
Or stop watching that sad movie. Do something
Or
else.
yeah, just stop it.
You know there are other movies out there.
But not all of them are sad.
Some of them are actually quite enjoyable and funny and action packed.
Yeah.
But anyway, way off track. Back to the creation of this lovely land of promise. It was originally under the control of the Salish Sheed Council. Most of the powerful tribes for the Salish Sheed actually reside in the north, not in the south. Oregon and the lower parts of Idaho were considered the southern area of the Salish Sheed Council. And for this area, there are only two big key tribes that had any influence.
Okay.
The Shoshone and the Modoc. These are the two tribes that technically have sway in the southern portion of the Salish Sheed, but really they have no real political power.
Okay. Is no one gonna say it? Is no one gonna talk about Modoc?
No.
The subdivision of the mechanized organism designed only for killing? I mean, we can.
Oh, man. Hypersonic blaster! Hypersonic blaster!
This is now going over into the Marvel
Hell
area.
yeah.
I have a question for you, Easy, in relation to this.
Okay.
What was the aim of MODOK's intentions?
I see what you did there, and other Marvel fans, hopefully you caught on as well for our Marvel joke that was just dropped.
That was for you. You knew you would be here.
So there is one small tribe in the South that starts to gain prominence, and that is the Cascade Crow tribe. A little-known individual named Walter Brightwater comes out of nowhere in 2019 and starts to claim to know the tribe's history and ancestry. No one can trace any of his lineage back to the tribe, as he claims he was in one of the re-education camps, and that camp subsequently was destroyed in 2018, so none of the records remain. I know what you're thinking.
Convenient.
Mysterious forces.
And I am.
I mean, you should be, because that makes sense. There's not much that's known about Walter Brightwater, other than in 2028, he spoke against desegregation.
Ooh.
He believed that full integration of the awakened races with humanity could only result in harm for everyone concerned. Segregation, he believed, was the only logical and compassionate choice. He saw this because of this mistreatment of metahumanity that was going on. What is interesting about his segregation talks is they heavily tended to favor elves, though he himself was not an elf.
Huh? Did he like have that Dave Chappelle thing where he didn't know he was not an elf or something?
No, he had no outward features. He's described as having dark colored hair, a full beard. Pretty simple, straightforward.
I guess, yeah.
He passed away,
R.I.P.
but his teachings did hold true in that the overall, not only the Salish, but all of the Nan kind of took what he said a little bit to heart and opened their borders to meta-humanity. They didn't want the Anglos back, but they were open to allowing meta-humanity to escape areas that were heavily prejudiced to them, like the Kos, and were willing to take them in. In 2030, you start to see this shift, and this unique thing starts happening in these southern Salish lands. 3 young elves who will later go on to become major figures of the tier. You have Athine Oak Forest, Sean Laverty, and Lou Surehand. And we've talked about these guys
Ooh,
before.
Sean.
These 3 seem to appear out of nowhere. Nobody knows where they were born or anything about their lives prior to 2030. Oak Forest and Laverty end up being the prime movers in 2031 to drive to reoccupy the council's southern cities and turn them back into vibrant urban areas. So this would be places like Portland and Salem.
Just return to the earth.
Well, they wanted to revitalize those cities because once they separated from the Yukos, gave the lands back to the Native Americans, they kind of wanted all of the Anglos out of their area now. Some could stay, but you were considered to be second-class citizens. So what these elves did while they're trying to revitalize this southern area is they communicated with engineers, scientists, and technicians in other nations. However, they dealt almost exclusively with elves, and they invited them to be part of their great design.
Oh, the great design. Okay.
The Renaissance of Southern Salish Sheed area. A lot of these elves answer the call, and they bring high levels of technical expertise and good old determination and will-how to build these cities back up.
So not fanatics yet?
Not fanatics, just elves looking for a place to belong and it being offered to them.
Pulling that land up by their pointy bootstraps.
They're pointy, made of leaves bootstraps.
Meanwhile, Lou Surehand focused his efforts on the social aspects of this group of metahumans, forming these new immigrants into a new society. There's also another low-key elf that enters in around this time that isn't widely spoken of during this early time of the tier, and that man's name is Ehron the Scribe.
Okay, not gonna lie, you said low key, and I was like, Loki?
Not Loki, no.
Okay.
Is Ekron the scribe the dude that
One?
we've talked about
Or
before?
the
He
ancient one?
is one of, yeah, he is that same Ehron the Scribe, yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Also, sorry, I don't remember if we had touched on this or not. How did they get the land in the first place?
It's the southern part of the Salish Sheed, and not much was done with it. And the council or the tribal councils that were in place down here had no real political sway or power. All of that was concentrated up in the north. So
Gotcha.
these
So
3 elves come along and just start discreetly being like, hey, we're gonna revitalize the area down here, but then not tell the council in the north that they're exclusively having elves migrate to the area.
It was already part of the Salish
Yes,
land that they had.
It's
Okay,
still
gotcha,
part
gotcha.
of the Salish at this point.
Gotcha. Okay.
And they're working within the laws of the Salish. It's just their representative that's up there in the north is just telling them, hey, we're rebuilding the area. And they don't think anything of it.
Gotcha. Okay.
They're just like, okay, that's great. We're so proud.
Okay.
Meanwhile, they're pulling all these elves in from all over the place, and nobody's saying anything about it.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
So the fun little fact about Aaron is that he looks like a tall, slender elf that's clean shaven with blonde hair and eyes that pierce like an eagle's. There are some that have noticed the resemblance between Aaron and Walter Brightwater.
Bum bum
Oh.
bum bum.
People have compared the released picture of Aaron the Scribe and then a digitally remastered picture of Walter Brightwater without his beard, and the facial structure matches almost perfectly.
Hmm.
And because this is the lore podcast that gives you all things lore all the time, they are the same person.
Huh?
Yeah, let that one sink in.
So one just had a beard.
Well, he has dark hair and a beard.
Oh. Okay. I totally forgot about that, and I was like,
Mhm.
is this like a Clark Kent scenario but with a beard?
No, he has dark hair and a beard. And then when Aaron the Scribe comes on the scene, he's got the elven pointy ears. His hair is much lighter, almost blondish, and he's clean shaven. But when you compare a picture of Walter Brightwater and you remove the beard, they look very similar in face structure, eye structure, nose structure. The only thing that's different is the hair is lighter and he has pointed ears.
I'm sorry, Mr. Scribe, but you're going to spend all this time. You should have written a better ending. You should have thought this through a little bit. That guy's
Well,
ain't
I
working.
mean, maybe he did. He's in it for the long game because remember, Brightwater is the one that's espousing this whole we should remain segregated. And
Yeah.
now there's this area pulling in exclusively elves.
And now it's working. So his
Hmm.
long game seems to have been successful, I'd say.
It's weird that he starts the long game, but then these other three step in to kind of take charge.
No, that's a great idea. You got to fade into the background.
Right? I'm not important. Don't look at me.
Pay no attention to the
Especially
man
not
behind
with
the
a
curtain.
beard on my face.
Yeah, exactly.
So those three major players, Oak Forest, Laverty, and Surehand, reestablished the entire infrastructure of the city's power grids, communications, sanitation, water, transportation, and so on. So
Amazing.
you have to think when the UCOS leaves, they lose a lot of these things.
Yeah, so they create infrastructure.
Yes, they put up all the infrastructure.
It's a good start.
Yep. The immigrants that Surehand was recruiting had cutting edge civil engineering technological ideas. And where they couldn't rebuild with technology, they had magic.
Yeah, that'll do.
That does always make everything easier.
Right? By 2034, Surehand and his associates had formed their own nation in all but name.
Nameless nation.
On May 1st, 2035, Lou Surehand closed the final gap between appearance and reality. At noon, around the world, he was able to announce the formation of the new nation, Tairngire, the land of promise.
I'm sorry, what was that? One more time?
Here, Tangerine.
Tairngire, the land of promise. Also, go Oranges.
Go Oranges. More sports teams, please.
I don't think that was the name. I think you're making that up.
I think I am making that up.
Easy.
Tairngire.
We come to you for facts, and if we
Yeah.
can't get facts, then how are we supposed to trust this podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Tairngire.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The part that made it so weird about this announcement to the rest of the world is that it was done through basically the emergency broadcast system. And nobody's supposed to have the codes for those, and to hack them would be this monumental task. Yet somehow, the tier is able to hijack it to make this announcement. Of course, this is a big surprise to the Salish Sheed Council, who are not very happy. So what do? They, of course, send forces down to retake the land. They expect to encounter light resistance, as they're just a bunch of elves that are just declaring that they own some land. There's no way that they could possibly defend themselves.
Yeesh.
However, these are crafty elves.
Is it okay to call groups crafty anymore?
I don't know.
Okay.
The first column of military vehicles that passed through the town of Vancouver on the Columbia's north bank and cruised on to the Highway 5 bridge were struck with anti-vehicular missiles just moments later.
Oh no. Oh no.
These were then supported by assault mortars, spitting clusters of munitions. The unsuspected bombardment decimated not only the first column, but the second and the third. Over the next several days, the Salish would probe 6 more times to try to break into tier territory, and each time they are repelled.
They just could not take a hint.
Well, you're losing land. Come on. They just got it back. They don't want to give it up.
Mom said it's my turn to have territory.
Right? After seeing how easily the tier turned back the forces of the Salish, the other Native American nations recognized tier sovereignty.
Damn right.
They were just like, nah, we're not going to do anything about it.
I'm good.
The Pueblo Corporate Council was like, you want that piece of desert? You take it. We're good. Of course, this didn't stop the tier, and once they had successfully repelled the Salish and none of the other Native American nations that they were bordering wanted to tangle with them, that's when they pushed down into California Free State. And they push as far south as, I think it's Redding, California. I'm checking for you. Yes. They push as far south as Redding, but they can't hold the area. Their military is becoming stretched too thin, and guerrilla tactics are running haywire on their supply lines, so they pull back to just a little bit north of there. So now you kind of have this DMZ zone between Tier and California Free State, both arguing over where exactly that border lies.
Why were they trying to push into California Free State?
More land.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I'll do it.
Why does anybody do it? That's for more land. I guess that checks out.
Yeah, they wanted more land, and that gives them a buffer zone as well.
Extraterritoriality.
They could have just gone
Relevant.
west.
They probably could have, but that would have taken them more into conflict with the Salish, and since they just repelled the forces that were coming after them, they didn't launch an assault on them.
Oh, I see.
They were using home field advantage.
It was more of like a, hey, we don't like this, but you know, just don't do anymore type of situation.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Lou Surehand announces his position in the new government, calling himself the High Prince.
Sick.
Humble.
The elves in power established themselves as the ruling body of the new land, called the Council of Princes, among whom Athene Oakforest, Sean Laverty, and Jenna Nefarari are included.
You know, we wanted to make sure that we didn't give our ruling body a pretentious name, so we really workshopped it with what just feels natural.
It really feels natural calling ourselves the Council of Princes. I don't know why. It just rolls off the tongue really, really well.
The only other place that they could have done that would have been in Minnesota, but then at some point they would have had to call themselves the Council of Symbol, and then the council formerly known as Princes. It would have been a whole...
Oh, that's a whole ordeal.
That's just a whole...
It's a whole to-do.
Renaming nightmare. I don't blame them.
So the true ruling body of this new nation becomes the 3 original members, which are Oak Forest, Laverty, and Nifarare. Also, a private 4th member is included in Ehron the Scribe.
Okay, so wait, was Aaron and the Grand Prince dude was he running both of these people at the same time?
No, Sean Laverty is not Ehron
No,
the
no,
Scribe.
not Laverty.
I'm sorry. Surehand. Surehand is
Surehand,
not. He's not Ehron the Scribe.
Oh,
He actually is a different person.
oh, okay.
Okay.
Or Clearwater was Aaron the Scribe?
It's Walter Brightwater.
Brightwater. Okay, okay. Sorry. That's okay. Brightwater. Okay. I was like, man, is he just like walk down the hallway with him to dip into a closet and throw his beard on and then come back out? Gentlemen,
Looks like a job for goes into a phone booth.
Yeah, I was gonna say he jumps into a phone booth, takes off his Clark Kent scribe glasses.
No, sorry, his beard.
He rips off his face and there's a beard underneath it instead of pulling open the shirt.
That
it's
makes
like
more
veering
sense.
on body horror, but it's not.
Right. According to the official records, the council elected Lou Surehand as High Prince by unanimous vote. By August of 2035, there are 3 more princes on the council: a Jonathan Reed, a Mira Cinnabel, and Dar Varine.
Yep, those sound like elves.
Right. And though there are 2 females that sit on the Council of Princes, the council members decided
cool.
early on that females would also receive the title Prince rather than Princess.
Is that girl a prince too?
Yes. Flips
Yes.
off. Toss.
The fun little blurb is that Maria Cinnabel is actually quoted as saying that she considered the negative, weak connotations traditionally associated with princess distasteful.
Oh, so was that her call to stick with Prince?
She was okay with it.
She was okay with it
because of the negative connotation of princess. It implies that you're a damsel in distress.
Somebody's never watched Xena and it shows.
Man, was she missing out.
It's right in the title, warrior princess. Like
not long after, there is a bold move that is presented to the Council of Princes. And Tyler, this one's right up your alley.
Ooh.
And that's that they name Lofweir one of their member.
The grand design continues.
Lofweir is now granted the title of Prince
in
the tier.
Prince Lofweir has a nice ring to it.
Okay, I have a question about the Council of Princes.
Yes.
Were the Spin Doctors ever part of the Council of Princes?
No, the Spin Doctors were not a part of the Council.
How am I supposed to take them seriously, Easy?
Oh man, what a reference. Wow.
Missed opportunity. I mean, they could have had they already had a theme song and everything ready for them.
They did, right?
Except then they would have had to take the council down to 2 people, I guess, to make it fit. So maybe that's for the best.
I guess so. So now you've got 5 elves and a dragon
walk into a bar
on the Council of Princes.
Oh, that too.
Well, this doesn't sit well with the rest of the population, because it's not just elves that are in this new land. Although they are the majority, there are also dwarves and orcs, and they feel that their voice should be heard in the governance.
Oh boy.
So in the mid-2036, the council names the last 4 princes of the tier, a Blake Ladner and Garth Stone, who are both dwarves, Larry Zinkin, an orc, and Rex, a Sasquatch.
Solid.
Hell yeah.
I mean, no taxation without representation. It's right there. So like
Right?
they're not wrong.
Do you think
Of
like
course.
wait, the Sasquatch's name Rex?
Yes, he
Do
goes
you
by
think
Rex.
that his like campaign slogan was like big feet, big impact?
I can only hope.
Big feet, bigger impact.
Ooh, fantastic. Call us.
Yeah. Rex, when you're up for re-election to the
Yeah.
Council of Princes, you let us know.
Us in your
Uh,
corner.
they exercise almost no power, however, are barely heard in the debates, and they generally keep a low profile. They're just happy to be there.
So they're like
Like most politicians.
Yes.
there it is. Yep.
We sometimes get to vote yes when we are told to vote yes.
They wave at the crowd.
Mhm.
That's their whole shtick.
Well, here's one of the benefits to being on the Council of Princes, is that princes are, by virtue of their position, of, quote, royal society.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Any offspring that they produce automatically hold the rank in perpetuity.
Oh, so as long as they have kids, they can just be royals forever, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
kind of like how a lot
So-
of like elected officials are still handled. I mean, like, after you're done
Some
being president,
dynasties.
you still have the Secret Service for the rest of your life. Like,
True. Well, the way this works, just because you're on the Council of Princes and you're given the title prince, that
mhm.
doesn't mean your offspring then get to take your seat on the council.
No, but they're still treated as being of the same social standing.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, so
I mean,
any children that they
the-
have,
The children of the president don't get to automatically be president. Otherwise, we'd be on President Washington the 58th at this point. So
King Washington.
yeah, King
Prince
Washington.
Washington.
Long
Oh
may he
my.
reign.
Long may he reign.
Okay, so as a flawless segue from that point, hey, Easy,
Mhm.
how does one get elected to the Council of Princes?
Oh, well, I'm glad you asked that. How do these powerful people get placed on the seat?
Hey, Tyler.
Well,
Hey, Tyler.
Yes.
That's how you
Yes.
do it. That's how you do a segue. I just
Oh,
throw that out
okay.
there for you.
Okay. Jots down in notepad, crosses it out, writes it again,
It's good.
puts in words that my brain can understand. All right, and we're good. Okay.
So, the way that you are placed on the Council of High Princes is you are, in fact, elected to them. Quote, unquote. Obviously, there's political maneuvering and backstabbing and favor garnishing and whatnot.
Mhm.
Technically, when a seat vacates, the princes will gather and will put forth their nominations for who should take the seat. Now, this is kind of unique because the High Prince does not get to put forth any nominees. Only the council puts forth any candidates. Obviously, this can be politically maneuvered and whatnot. Then they vote, and it's an open vote so that people can see the way that the princes are voting. The interesting draw here is that the High Prince, his vote counts as 5 votes.
Matt checks out.
So yeah, that's how you get new elected officials, quote unquote elected.
Close enough.
I mean, that's the way it's set up, and that lasts honestly until mid 2060s, I think. And then they actually go a more democratic route, like where the people actually have more of a voice. And it sort of turns into more of a popular vote like we have now. And then you hope that the rest of the princes vote the way that the population voted. So the Council of High Princes basically becomes the Electoral College.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so the princes themselves still have sway in determining who the
But
actual official is, but yeah.
it's still democratic.
Yeah, you know, asterisks and all that good stuff, yeah.
I'm just saying.
Hey,
Just saying.
you're not wrong. I'm agreeing.
So you have the high princes and the princes, and that makes up your royalty.
Mhm.
Well, what would royalty be without a lovely little thing called paladins?
Yo.
Paladins exist in the tier.
Hubba.
There are 3 different versions of the word paladin associated to the tier. The first meaning and the most common one is the social rank of paladin, which has become synonymous with patron. Someone can become a paladin of a specific cause or cultural or charitable organization. There are no prerequisites. One simply declares one's intention to do so, and from that moment on, that person must devote all the energy and resources at their disposal to further that cause, assuming a paladinship for a cause becomes a matter of honor.
They're social paladins.
Yes.
Political paladins.
Yeah, it's a social rank. So you can say you're the paladin for Make-A-Wish, and you devote all of your time and energy to that charitable organization to forward their goals.
So they just wanted a fancier way to say representative, is what I'm hearing.
Kind of. That's the first and common term.
Okay.
The second meaning of paladin springs from a less formal usage instituted by none other than our good friend Aaron the Scribe.
Mm.
And this is taken up by others because apparently he's very influential.
This is paladin with a Y.
This is paladin. This is paladin with an asterisk.
Oh, okay.
So many members of the royal rank support followings of individuals who have pledged their service to that royal personage, becoming paladins of that member of royalty.
Okay. So they become the representatives for the families, basically.
Yes.
For the elected princes.
Mm-hmm.
Elected in quotes.
This pledge carries serious obligations. The person making the commitment shoulders responsibilities similar to those associated with an oath of fealty.
Mm-hmm. Checks out. That checks out.
They really are becoming knights.
Sure.
From the moment they swear the fealty, the paladin's life is sworn to his or her lord, and only the lord can break the bond. So once you swear in, you're in for life.
Gotcha.
You're in for the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very long run.
So those paladins are the Secret Service.
Almost.
Yeah. Well, but they're also like representatives, so like
they're sworn to the royal houses, and any royal house. Remember, royals don't necessarily mean council of princes. They could be the descendants from the council of princes that hold the rank of royal.
Right. So
paladins
it could be like an assistant or like somebody who like is like if they're like
cousin.
Yeah, but I'm like their
related
job
to the royal, and then they become a paladin that assists them and swears fealty to their house.
And it would be like if that royal what liked doing charity, then the paladins would assist them with
kind of like
furthering that cause. Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Except it gets a little dark.
Cool.
And that
in Shadowrun?
Or I know, right? And that Aaron conceived the idea of the hunt.
The most dangerous game?
You know what? You're not far off.
Hell
Welcome to the hunt.
We're hunting paladins?
At some point, he planted the idea in the minds of his paladins that riding the border from time to time and hunting, quote, invaders made good sport.
Oh, no.
I was really hoping
Yeah.
that it was like the last step of the paladin initiation was that they had to survive being hunted for like 48 hours in the wilderness.
Ooh. It's like
It's like
snipers in the
yeah,
military.
it's like test your metal if you will swear your loyalty, and instead it's like, nah, just go kill people, just
Go
go down
kill
to the
border
border
crossers.
and do your
Kill
thing.
the undesirables.
Wow.
I mean, come on.
Remember-
The subtext.
Remember, in a previous episode, we did talk about the tiers military that patrols the border and their method for dealing with people that jump the border.
Oh, we sure did.
Remember that one?
Yep, dose them with goofy juice and leave them in the woods.
Yes.
I mean, I would
Unfortunately, if
rather
you run into a paladin, they kill you on sight.
Yeah, I'd rather have that than be hunted. Like,
I'm not a fan of any of what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the other one is like, it's fine. They just knock you out, erase your memory for the last 12 hours, and then you wake up in the forest again, and you're
true.
like,
You're not like
maybe I
leprechaun.
shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't go for the tier, and then the other ones just shoot you in the fucking face. Like, I don't know.
The other ones you join in a specifically located purge.
I mean, you say shoot you in the face. You're thinking that they hunt these individuals with guns. These are noble knights, sir.
Yeah, they shoot
They
you in
definitely-
the face, metaphorically.
They definitely hunt you with bows and arrows and swords.
Yeah, and wear their red waistcoats while the hounds track your scent. And
Bloodhounds,
yes.
yeah.
Because of this, most tier subjects now equate the designation paladin with the word secret police.
Oh, okay.
All
You have
thanks
people
to
knocking on the door. It's like, yes, madam, the local paladins would like to speak with you.
Well, all thanks to Aaron and his conceived idea of paladins and hey, let's hunt people.
Criminals.
Yeah, that in turn leads to criminals. And where are criminals? Criminals are in society. Well, go out and do my bidding and make sure that the fiefdom is safe from criminals.
checks out.
The logic follows. I'm just saying.
And the aforementioned undesirables.
Yeah. And now we come to the third meaning of the word paladin in the tier.
Yes, which, as we know, are holy warriors that go out and spread the good word in order to represent the Lord and Savior, salvation of humanity, Dunkelzone.
Yes.
Wow. Oh, man.
Oh, man.
So in the third meaning of the word paladin, it specifically refers to the High Prince's Praetorian Guard.
Yo?
I liked mine better.
A small, crack military unit personally loyal to the High Prince that serve as his bodyguard.
Oh, so this is the Secret Service.
This is the Secret Service for the High Prince. Yes. This version of the Paladins usually is comprised of 24 well-trained and personally selected members of the tier special forces.
Jesus.
At least 8 paladins accompany the High Prince on any ceremonial occasion. Their dress uniform for such occasions is a distinctive body armor, partially heavy armor sculpted to resemble ornate matte black medieval style field plate mail.
Well, okay.
And they carry unsheathed broadswords as part of their uniform.
Where do they place said sword?
I mean, there's probably a scabbard that they carry on there.
I said unsheathed.
They're always on guard, Tyler. Why would they ever put their swords down?
Yes. Okay. They're just constantly
they're
holding their
bodyguards.
swords. No, I get that.
I
get that, but not all. Yeah. I'm just like,
Yeah.
Are they doing the thing that they do in RPGs where they reach their hand back and suddenly their sword is attached to their back?
No, I don't think they're doing that.
Hmm.
They don't spin them around and go da 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 da.
Yeah, whenever I switch weapons, his hand goes for his hip like very quickly, and he's pulling out like different weapons.
Mm-hmm.
This is all real.
Yes, when one of them runs into you, there's a swirl of color, and suddenly you're on a grid battlefield, and there's 3 of them when there was only 1. Thank you,
What?
RPG moments. Thank you.
What? Like, these are elves?
These are elves.
Because I'm a sucker for paladins in
Uh-huh.
anything. I'm a sucker for like medieval armor in anything, especially sci-fi.
Mhm.
And Praetorian Guard is so cool.
Yeah.
I'm not usually a big fan of elves, but I'm starting to come around to them.
Well, these are the elite of the elite.
Spoken like a cuss.
Wow.
Hell yeah, brother.
Uh, Also, those armors that the paladins wear are no joke.
But how are they? How do you maneuver in them?
Well, they're made to look like medieval style plate mail, but they're made out of modern composite materials. So it's like they're wearing full military grade security armor. So they're
Oh,
ballistic resistant and everything. It's not actual plate mail.
so it's not like running in chainmail and you hear just the rattling the whole
No,
time.
nope, no.
It's so hard for my brain to picture.
I know it's weird, right? But they wear sculpted, heavy, ornate armor that's made to look like plate mail, but is actually made out of high-tech composite materials, body from up-to-date body armor fabrication, and they have all of their armors matte black, which is weird for paladins, right? Usually you think of paladin and you think of bright, shiny white armor. Not these guys.
Dark Paladin.
You got to have that matte black armor for stealth.
I guess, but like,
I
I guess. Like, how am I supposed to pick out all the details? Where's the craftsmanship if you just cover? Whatever.
Wow. Eventually, as the tier progresses, they can't just rely on the council princes to take care of all of the political goings on for the day to day. So you need a parliament, which they implement, and they call it the Star Chamber.
Because everyone's a star.
I guess. The government responded to the cries for democratic representation in 2043 by creating the Chamber of Representatives, known as the Star Chamber. This is where the common folk could get elected and bring their grievances forward, discuss them, and decide what was important, and then pass that on to the Council of Princes to hopefully have it enacted into law.
Operative word being hopefully.
Yes, being hopefully. You'll be happy to know that the government of the tier considers treason the nation's most heinous crime.
Loyalty is everything.
And they define treason in the loosest possible term.
Oh no.
And the council and high prince may refine the definition as it suits them.
Ooh.
In general, treason is defined as any action that causes harm or has the potential to cause harm to the nation state of Tairngire.
That's pretty broad.
That is very broad. Now I know the next thing you're thinking, wow, this place sounds so amazing.
This place
How do I get to
sounds-
live there?
How do I get to live there easy?
This place sounds like
Well-
a nightmare.
How do I continue to live in this nightmare realm?
Well, you'll be happy to know.
I don't know about that. Okay, go on. Sorry.
You'll be happy to know that around the world, Tairngire has reached out to set up immigration centers. They're small little buildings, sometimes connected to their embassies. That's the word I was thinking of.
Ah, okay.
And you go in and you request to leave your current area and Go and live in the great promised land of the elves.
What does that mean? Is that a euphemism for something, or is that like saying you're getting iceberged?
No, it's not that you're getting iceberg.
Okay. Well, I don't know what the term is I'm looking for, but it's like
So for admission into the tier, visitors from other countries must show a valid passport from their home nation, medical records providing proof of relevant inoculations, and a visitor's authorization visa complete with an associated photo ID scan.
Oh, you know what would be amazing?
What's that?
Get the studio that made Papers, Please to make a Shadowrun version of it where you're playing as
yo,
a
please let my son into the cause.
yeah.
Oh,
I must get into
yikes.
the tier. Please.
Yeah, please, please. The most important part is the VAV, the Visitor Authorization Visa.
Also known as the vis-a-vis.
Oh.
I just thought you were going for the VAV, but that's not as nearly as good.
The applicant must tender all personal records, including military, medical, and criminal, if applicable, and an up-to-date photograph. High-resolution scan, please. They must also list all current
enemies.
Trans implant or personal enhancement technology. Any cyberware that you have in your body, you have to declare it.
Or pet, as we call it. Personal.
You must also list your reason for traveling to the tier and have a signed / notarized authorization for the tier to establish any records, including the application.
I'm gonna assume that request for information of cyberware is exclusive to Tairngire, because I have a feeling that if you let Tir Nanog know that, they're just not gonna let you in at all, right?
Well, it depends, and we'll talk about Tir Nanog in a future dive. I will let you know that you think just hearing about Tairngire, you think it's restrictive. Tir Nanog is 100% more restrictive.
Oh no!
Well, but now to be fair,
to be fair,
from everything that I've understood so far, at least Tir Nanog is upfront about like everything that they like do and are representative for. Whereas Tairngire seems more like they're like, yeah, come here, it's a great time, everybody wants to live here, it's fun, and then they get there and you're like, do not commit acts against the princes or the crown. We shall decide your treason as applicable. Like, it seems like it's like much more of a like deceitfully evil place to live. Whereas at least Tir Nanog is a lot more straightforward, and they're just like, hey man, we like the earth. We like metas. We don't like it. We don't like cybernetics. If that's you, come here, hang out, be cool.
Be cool. True.
But we shall see. We shall see.
I mean, you say that, right? One of the facts about going into Tir Nanog is that if you're an outside individual and you somehow manage to gain access to be allowed into Tir Nanog, as you cross in through customs, one of the things that they do is inject you with a tracking device so they can know where you are in Tir Nanog at all times.
Sick. Super chill.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds fine. I don't see what the problem is.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. I don't go anywhere shady.
Well, the visitor to Tairngire must carry their identity card with them at all times and must show it on request to any Peace Force officer that asks you to produce it.
Papers, please.
Yes, papers, please. Your visitor authorization visa is valid for up to 30 days.
And then what?
Then you have to renew.
Or leave.
Unless you're immigrating. Yeah. This is just visiting.
Okay.
Any visitor unable to produce a valid VAV can be charged with a serious criminal offense.
Yeah, treason. We already went over that.
Treason.
Yeah, it's treason, remember?
I never forget treason. Easy.
I hope not, especially if you're on the Council of Princes, right?
If only, if only.
It's one of the things you don't want to forget. It's really, really important. So yeah, that's how you visit the tier. That's not how you actually get inside to live permanently.
Tyler, if you always remember the treason, what about the gunpowder and plot?
No.
Oh man.
Do you remember that? Austin, here's one of the things that you might actually like about the tier.
All right.
They don't recognize extraterritoriality.
Hell yeah, let's go.
They're actually
They said
very
we took this
choosy.
land fair and square and it's ours. And
Pretty
you
much.
can't have it.
They have almost no megacorp presence in the tier. Anything that is there is usually a subsidiary. So it's not like they have an Ares headquarters in the tier. It's not there because they don't recognize extraterritoriality. So yeah, I guess that's one positive thing, right?
Yeah, that's good. And if you try to take any of their territory, that's treason. So
That's correct, yes.
Yeah.
And they will just kill you.
yeah,
Treason.
Because that's what you do with anybody who commits treason.
that's what the paladins are there for.
Oh my
It's
god.
100% off with their head.
It's the tier version of heresy.
Oh wow.
I mean, heresy is just treason against the God Emperor, so
I mean, that's what my point is, that like you could shape it to be whatever benign crime is treason. You know?
Yeah.
Technically, yeah, if they want rid of
Like
you
heresy.
that badly. Like heresy.
We're one step away from heresy.
that's why it's a prince and like royalty based caste system, is so that way they can exactly directly control all of the laws and the rulings to whatever their favor is. I mean, like, what is the law system like in the tiers? Like, do they have like an official court system, or is it just
Justice?
I'm glad you asked. I have an answer for you.
uh-huh
As I'm usually want to do.
Word.
So, the way criminal law works in the tier.
mm-hmm they're represented by two equally important sides of the justice system.
No.
Sorry, I was thinking of Law and Order. My bad.
Law and Order. Law and Order and any kind of UCAS law drama do not apply. Criminal matters are adjudicated by professional jurists.
Okay.
Referred to as brehons.
Okay.
Brehons?
Yep.
Get your brehons.
Of Tarth?
No.
Okay.
A brehon, more commonly called a magistrate,
Oh man.
is appointed by the Council of Princes,
mm-hmm
and they must hold the social rank of noble. They can be no lower than a noble.
mm-hmm.
Remember, the tier is separated into a caste system.
Sure is.
I have the whole caste system right here for you.
What do we got?
Oh boy.
So at the very bottom, we have Irenes, which are classless. They have no...
Irene?
Yeah, Irenis.
Oh,
Irons.
Irons. Okay, because I was like, I know people named Irene, and that would suck for them.
Irons. I forgot. We have to be as Gaelic as possible. So
Nope.
Irons, who hold no titles. Then you have the gentry, which holds the title of squire. The chivalry, which can hold the title of sir.
Wait, sir, like SIR or
SIR.
Okay.
Noble, which can hold the title of lord or lady. Comital, which can hold the title of count or countess.
Blah. Okay.
Ducal, which is a duke or duchess. And finally, royal, which is prince or princess. So if you're a magistrate, you can be no lower than a noble.
Oh.
And these people are appointed by the Council of Princes. They can be nominated in the area, and each magistrate receives 1 hectaacre upon being granted the title of magistrate. Because to be noble, you have to be a landowner. And that land is usually gifted within the magistrate's jurisdiction. To be considered a viable candidate, you have to at least have extensive legal training and experience, either within the tier or a similar system, which is the tier.
Oh.
You must also have a sterling reputation within the legal community. You can't be an upstart or talking bad about the people that are above you, above your station. But here's the fun part. If you're elected magistrate, you get to hold that office for up to 50 years. Unless you choose to step down or the council moves to have you removed.
So there's not like 4-year terms?
No.
It's 50?
It's 50.
Is that like the elven equivalent of 4 years?
You know what? That's what some people think. Because you're dealing with elves. They're looking to the long haul game.
Longest haul.
Mm-hmm. By law, each riding, which is like an area of land within the tier, think of it like a community or a county, must have at least 3 magistrates. Beyond that, the riding's population determines the actual number that they can have. For example, sparsely populated towns roughly have about maybe 7, whereas the large city of Portland has almost over 200 magistrates. And here you go, Austin. The legal system in the tier doesn't follow the adversarial paradigm familiar to UCOS citizens. A tier magistrate is not.
Sorry, I like the term adversarial paradigm. That's a much more interesting way to describe it than just saying lawyer.
Right? We should use that more often, right?
I'm saying, man.
The tier magistrate is not regarded as a truly objective arbiter.
Oh, really? You don't say.
I know. You're shocked. I'm sure you're shocked.
Stunned and shocked.
In fact, the tier system recognizes the impossibility of such a task. Instead, the magistrate becomes an active participant in the search for the truth. That's right. The guy who is supposed to be the judge
is also the prosecutor
over your criminal trial can participate in the discovery of evidence and the search for the truth.
Sick.
In a criminal trial, up to 3 prosecuting attorneys represent the state.
Mm-hmm. And how many represent the defense?
A defense attorney may represent the defendant, though the law does not require it.
Mm-hmm.
The defendant may and often does defend themselves.
I mean, that's the same here. You're legally allowed to defend yourself. It's just, ill-advised, but
It's not recommended.
yeah.
Yes.
If you, I can just imagine like the Miranda rights of the tier, and they're like, if you cannot afford an attorney, tough shit. We'll see you in court.
You can't afford an attorney, you shouldn't have committed treason.
If you can't afford an attorney, glory to the tier.
Glory to tier.
Oh, that's so funny.
The good old magistrate controls the pacing and length of the trial.
Oh, God.
And has considerable latitude in deciding what to admit as evidence.
Remember when I said Paladins and Praetorian Guard were cool?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, nah.
He stands by that statement. He's doubling down.
I double down. Just take I'm gonna say shit later that's gonna get edited together to sound like I'm super racist.
Go Koss.
Go Koss.
No editing needed.
Wow.
Oh, no, everyone knows now.
Yeah, jury trials do not exist in the tier. Instead, the presiding magistrate passes that final judgment.
So he's judge, jury, and executioner.
Yes.
Thank you. 2 days, 2 Hot Fuzz references. Yeah. Shame, really.
Yeah. Unlike judges in the UCOS, the magistrates are not constrained by precedents or case law. So what's ruled on in one magistrate judge ruling has no precedence in a case of similar finding someplace else. You can't reference a previous case.
So there's no, as brought up in the trial of Johnson versus the tier, you can see clearly that just doesn't exist. That's not a thing.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And as well as ruling on the guilt or innocence of the accused, the magistrate chooses the appropriate punishment.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What do I feel like today?
The law does suggest a range of penalties for each classification of offense, but the magistrates make their own decision.
I just want there to be one magistrate that just has like the wheel of punishment, and he's just like, you are guilty. Now step forward and spin the wheel to decide your fate.
I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Who's to say you can't do that?
That's exactly how I would abuse my power if I was a magistrate at the tier.
Well, don't worry. If the defendant believes he has been wrongly convicted, he can apply for appeal to his judiciary committee.
And that's where the judge comes back and eats a banana in front of him and hands it
Yum, 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 yum.
I mean, almost, because the committee comprises all magistrates in the area. Remember how I said some small towns only have 7?
Yeah.
They have to have a minimum of 3, whereas large cities like Portland have over 200.
Right.
Well, you can basically appeal the ruling to this judiciary body, and each magistrate will review the application.
And then you go, Michael didn't like me, but Jeff, back me up, man. You know I'm good for it. Come on.
Cool. I like the way they do this. Basically, the application gets sent to their personal computer like an email. The magistrate reads over it and then either
puts
rejects
it in the spam folder.
Yeah, either rejects or approves it.
Leave it on red.
And you have to get a simple majority.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at least there is an appeal system. You know, it sounded like it's not a likely one, but there is one.
Well, once they appeal, you have to go through the whole case all over again the same way, just under a new magistrate.
I mean, it's better than just one magistrate deciding I don't like this guy. so it's prison forever for him, and then that's it. You know, like I'm
I
not
mean,
saying it's a perfect system, but I'm saying at least there is an appeal system.
that's probably why it was put into place, so that you couldn't just have somebody being like, I don't like you. Prison forever.
Prison forever, please.
You stole that man's cow. Off with your hands.
It turns out that you happen to come to my court on Decapitation Wednesdays. I will now pass my judgment.
We haven't even heard. We haven't even heard from the prosecutors. Yeah, I don't need to.
I bet you can guess what it will be.
Let's get this along. I have a brunch to attend.
Gentlemen, please, this case is nothing for us to lose our heads over.
I have a 5 o'clock tea time. Let's wrap this up now.
Reginald, will you deliver the verdict? No, please go.
And remember, they can just do that because they dictate the length and pace of the trial. So they can be like, I'm really hungry and want lunch. Guilty. All right, we're adjourned.
I'm going to ask you outright, did you do it? No, I swear, guilty. On to the next case.
I love to think that there's a movie out there where there's like this big legal case that's happening. This character's delivering this like heartfelt speech about how this person's innocent. And halfway through the speech, a little egg timer goes off and they're like, oh, tea time already? Oh, how time flies. Anyway, guilty. What?
You know what the funniest thing about that is?
Yes.
That's literally an episode of The Simpsons.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I actually think you're right about that.
Bart gets in trouble and he has to go to the court, and he's talking to the judge, and he's friends with the judge, and he's about to give him the pass off of boys will be boys, and like right in the middle of sentencing, his timer goes off and he goes, oh, I'm on vacation, and then he leaves.
Holy moly, dude.
And another judge comes in, because I believe that the judge that comes in was voiced by Judge Judy. And she comes in, and then like I think Bart has to do like stockades or something. I don't remember the end of it, but
stockades.
Yeah, he's put up for like public embarrassment or something for whatever he did to try to teach him a lesson. But yeah, no, that literally happens in an episode of The Simpsons.
That is so fucking wild.
So great.
The clown is down. That's the only reason I still remember.
So we were just talking about the laws and the way the laws were executed.
Yeah.
Fairly, by far, I think, right? Super fair.
No problems. Yeah, no. Everything checks out above board.
The 3 major cities for the tier are Portland, Salem, and Eugene. Portland originally started out as the hub for the tier. That's where a lot of their imports and exports would come through, and so Portland kind of becomes a boom town in the early years of the tier for the import and exports.
Oh, okay.
Later, however, they move that. They move it. They outsource their importing to Seattle because Seattle has a bigger port. And so they just buy some real estate for the ports in Tacoma area and have their imports come that way, and then they're transported from Seattle down to Portland and then distributed out. But because of that, you see a marked decline in the Portland economic structure.
Interesting.
Which is sad. Also, when they put Portland up and they're rebuilding Portland, they build a wall around Portland, much like the Berlin Wall.
Mm.
And this is because it's one of the, it starts out as their port city, where they're having all these people come in, imports and exports, right? So you want it to be difficult for those people then to get out into the greater tier nation. And what better way than to build a wall around the city?
That'll do.
That checks out.
Yeah. It has checkpoints.
Gotta give those paladins something to patrol.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, it's not only the paladins, they have their military force, which they call the Peace Force.
That's a boring ass name.
I'm just telling
for
you,
a society that
what
has
it is.
paladins and magistrates. Peace Force.
What did you want it to be?
The lawbringers, the peacekeepers. I don't know.
Guys, come on. It's right there. You call them the Inquisitors.
Oh, mother.
Oh, wow.
I quit.
Right in front of our faces.
How am I supposed to follow that up?
You can't.
I can't. I'm ruined.
I'm so sorry.
I'm just here for, the ideas. That's all. That's what I'm here for.
So yeah, they placed a wall around Portland, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 checkpoints to get in and out, and that's it.
Okay.
Still a large city. It's just
An enclosed city.
an enclosed large city.
Yes. On the outskirts of Wall Maria.
Yeah, it encompasses the entire city of Portland too. And you think that border is bad? Well, guess what?
It is?
I mean, it is, but the tier itself has set up a sort of border wall.
Okay.
The border around the tier has 2 fences. One fence is 8 meters or so high, topped with cut wire and wired with sensors to detect anybody trying to go over it. 25 meters after that wall, there's another 8-meter fence with cut wire.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the no man's land in between, and it is full of landmines, sensors, and hungry paranormal critters.
Yum.
Right? And if that's not enough for you, there is an abundance of watcher spirits that trace the border at the speed of thought.
So it's
Pretty fast.
So it's easy to sneak in, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, super easy. Border crossing stations resemble hardened military encampments,
Mm-hmm.
complete with slit windows, heavy-duty comlinks sprouting from the roof, sentry gun emplacements that are hard to spot, and enough firepower to stop anything smaller than an armored vehicle transport.
I feel like knowing how these guys operate, this was done as more of a, well, I just can't financially justify buying my own World War One replica, so I'll just make a security system.
Right?
And it worked.
Mm-hmm.
So getting in by road, obviously, very difficult. Or getting in over the land, very difficult.
Unless you know a guy.
Unless you
I
know
do.
a guy. How about by sea? Right? They've got the port into Portland. Well, any ship that puts in to either of the 2 ports for the tier, that's Portland or Astroya. When the ship enters into that tier port area, so either one of these, the ship has to take on a local pilot. It can no longer be run by its regular captain and crew. The tier pilot knows his harbor navigation, but the tier pilot is also a mage.
Why wouldn't he be?
Mm-hmm.
And that mage is responsible for not only bringing the ship into port, but also looking around the ship for any stowaways or anybody that has the idea to cross over and leave the ship while it's in port.
So it's easy to get into the tier.
In fact, while the ship is in port, the entire crew of the ship has to stay below deck, and the ship is unloaded of its good by tier dock workers.
Solid. I mean, this all sounds like it's easy to get in. I don't understand what the problem is.
Right? I mean, your other option is by plane, right?
Yeah.
Well,
and then you just jump out of the plane with a parachute.
I hope you have your visa ready, because you have to go through immigration to get on the plane.
Uh-huh.
And
our visa. Yep.
You have to make it through three different security checkpoints, any one of which can turn you around just because. So there you go. Land, sea, and air. It's pretty difficult to get into the tier.
Easily accessible. Open to all.
Very welcoming.
Mm-hmm.
We want all the elves. We want all the elves.
But mostly the elves. Give us your elves.
I'm
Mostly
sorry, what was that last
the
part?
elves,
Could you
please.
speak up? No,
I'm sorry, I was under my breath. So that encompasses most of the tier. How it operates. You'll be happy to know that most of its exports actually they kind of sway towards the technological.
Oh, okay.
And artwork. Tier artwork is also highly prized.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it always?
Yeah, elven artwork always being
Elven
highly
artwork.
prized. Who
Yeah.
knew? Who knew?
I would love it if they were like, this is my original that I just got in from the tier. It's been added to the gallery collection. They say that the artist is a young up-and-comer, and I was very lucky to be able to get my hands on his first masterpiece before he is etched into the hollows of history as an all-time great. And then you see it, and it's literally like a stick figure finger painted on a piece of paper. And
Isn't it just breathtaking?
the majesty!
It'd be a stick figure painted in some bright color on a old leaf that's been set onto a white canvas background.
Yes, as you can see, it's the contrast. It reminds us of the passage of time. Youth is replaced. The
My
old
God,
falls.
it's so profound.
It's a metaphor, you see.
Oh yes,
I know a lot of
metaphor.
people tend to miss the point, but you seem pretty sharp.
I figured that you'd pick up on it, but just in case, I thought I'd give you a quick rundown.
How many thousands of new yen did it cost you?
Millions, my friend. Millions.
My God.
Can you
Simply
truly
amazing.
Can you truly place a price on a masterpiece?
Amazing.
And Tyler, to answer your question earlier about the military,
Yes.
the national military and police force, usually referred to as the constables, are one and the same, forming the two halves of the, quote, peace force.
Peace Force.
So the military is also the cops.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but anytime I hear constable, I think of like those very stereotypical police hats in the UK. And there's like a short guy with a mustache, the Bobby, and he's got like a nightstick or whatever they call it there.
He twirls it.
All right. What's all this then? What's going on around here?
Yes, because they all speak in a Cockney accent.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. I'm pretty sure that's a prerequisite to be able to join the Peace Force.
Yeah, prerequisite. Do you have a bushy mustache and can you speak in a harumph accent?
What did you say, sir?
You're hired on the spot.
Peace Force wants you.
Thanks, Easy, for deciding my next character's voice in the next campaign.
There you go.
Hey, you're welcome.
You seemed like you seemed struggling, so.
Yeah,
Exactly. He sounds like he always
exactly.
needs to have half of a sack of marbles in his mouth.
At all times, yes.
Are you going to eat those?
Would those happen to be more marbles?
I had a light breakfast today. I did have one more question in regards to the tier.
Yes, please go ahead.
What is the tiers like in the grand scheme of like North American territoriality between the cost, the UCOS, the tier, and the I can't remember what's the name for the native nations?
The Nan.
The Nan. Yeah, the Nan. Yeah, that one. Jesus, it was right there.
You were just missing American.
I was literally missing the American. Oh my god. Okay, sorry. Yes, the Nan. Like how are the tier involved in regards to like issues affecting North America? Like, do they pretty much just isolationist mindset, or do they ever get involved in like bigger political kerfuffle?
So they start out very I would say internally focused. I mean, they are pretty much a brand new nation,
Right.
having to climb up out of a previously existing nation.
Yes, we've all seen Hamilton. Yes, we know.
Oh yes, of course.
Yes.
Revolution.
He was a bastard orphan.
Thank you.
Sound of a whore and a Scotsman dropped in the middle of a forgotten spot in the Caribbean. Providence.
No, take it away.
Barbarous
No,
squalor.
please. I gotta go get water, so you just keep going. Hang on.
You just
$10
take it away.
without a father. Got a lot farther by working a lot harder, by being a lot smarter, by being self-starter, by 14. Okay, I don't know
Okay,
how. I pulled
okay.
that from deep within my soul. I didn't even. It's been forever since I've heard that song. Oh my god. Okay. Sorry, I don't know what came over me.
Congratulations. It was well done. Well done. Hands, clap.
Please do not cut that out. I need my cousin to know that I memorized the lyrics. Hey, check out this episode.
You'll be happy to know that diplomatic relations between the tier and the other nations of North America are strained.
Yeah, okay, that's about what I expected.
The tier tends to pursue its international goals in a way that gives it a well-deserved reputation for demanding extensive concessions while yielding none.
Yeah, that checks out. I mean, one of their princes is the worst dragon, so that makes sense.
Harumph. For example,
I say.
For example, if another nation agrees to allow Tairngire to set up a consulate, the tier frequently demands the host country grant it land for that purpose. Countries desiring trade with the tier must grant space within airports, port facilities, and so on to establish tier customs and immigration offices. The tier usually demands that the consulate be officially considered Tairngire territory subject only to tier laws. Though this is common practice for consulates, the Council of Princes demands the same concession for its customs and immigration facilities. So when you go into one of these tier gift shops that's in the airport or in the port area and has an immigration office, you are technically in tier territory subject to all tier law.
I think it would be funny if somebody got arrested at like a tier gift shop in Europe, and they get taken into a tier court system, and they're just like, "I demand a jury by my peers." And the judges, the magistrate's like, "Well, okay." And he just spins around in his chair, and he's like, "All right, I'm here."
Except he has a mustache on now.
You see what I did there? Because you see, I am the law.
He puts on a goatee.
I'd like to speak to your manager, please. Okay, it spins around. Yes.
Fun story. When I was working in retail, I had somebody who demanded to speak to the manager, and I said okay, and I took a step back from the checkout desk.
Oh my
and
god!
I twirled in place and took a step forward and said, "How can I help you?" And the look of absolute disgust on their face is
my god,
etched into my mind forever.
One dude, that's like a bucket list item.
It was incredibly satisfying.
Oh my god!
I had when I was working at at one of the comic shops back in the day. We had a customer who came in that was like a known grief causer type of person, you know. And I remember I was trying to help him one time, and they were like, "Well, I feel like you're not actually trying to help me right now, and I want to speak to a manager." And I was like, "All right, let me get the manager." And it was in the back office because he was on his lunch break. And I went in the back and I was like, "Hey, there's somebody out there that wanted to talk to you." And he was like, "Who was it?" And I told him the customer's name, and he was like, "Oh." And then he just proceeds to turn the page in the comic that he was reading and just continue to sit there. And I was like, "Okay, so can I stay back here?" And he's like, "Yeah, I don't care." And then we just hung out in the back office for like 20 minutes. Then I went back out and we were like, "Oh, he left. All right, cool. We can go back to work."
Wow. How long did they ever
Amazing.
say like how long that guy ever waited?
Oh no. It usually wasn't an issue because usually there was usually always like a manager on the floor, like, so there was always somebody there to immediately like go for the intercept type of situation. But it's like the one time where they weren't already out there, and he was just like, "Yeah, I'm on my lunch break. I'm not gonna deal with this guy. I don't want to do that. I'm just gonna stay here." I was like, fair enough.
Not blame you.
Oh, retail.
Oh, retail.
So yeah, those are the concessions that the tier demands from any foreign entities.
So
wow.
Tyr sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, and this is just Tairngire.
Yeah, Tirnanog's way better. We already went over this. It's fine.
I guess.
Look forward to 5 episodes from now when I eat crow on my statements about
Yum, yum,
Tirnanog
yum.
being
Shove me up a slice of that humble pie.
being
Humble
a better
pie.
place for
If
the
you-
family.
If you would like the relationship between the two tiers, I do have that for you too.
That's what I was
Strained.
looking for.
I'm gonna guess it's strained because that seems to be the relationship word of the night.
In a word, yes, you are correct.
In a word.
To non-elven eyes, the
Mhm.
Tir Tairngire seems a mysterious, strange, even threatening place.
Mm-hmm.
To those same eyes, Tir Nanog must appear as a darker rendering of Tir Tairngire, like an image in a nightmare.
Whoa.
In fact, each nation sees the other as a perverted reflection of itself.
That is hilarious.
The princes of Tir Tairngire see Tir Nanog as a place of uncontrolled mysticism. Magic runs wild. And the
On you, brother.
scions of Tir Nanog in turn view Tir Tairngire as a promised land tainted by the corruption of technology and the suppression of wild magic. Each land wishes to influence the other back to the, quote, true path.
Yeah, that checks out.
Now, question: is it true path, capital T, capital P, or is it just a metaphorical true path?
It would depend on who you ask.
I feel like in this context it's a metaphorical true path.
Okay.
It's the true path of the belief system that they harbor, because
I mean-
Tir Nanog is like no humans, all metas, and also technology is evil. And Tir Tairngire is like, we'll take anybody as long as you go by our law system, and also technology is pretty all right. So
Yes, that is
like,
correct.
their true paths are just different manifestations of how they perceive elven culture within the sixth world. True path is a state of mind, man.
Yeah, man.
It's a state of being, okay?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. The tears all around us.
Whoa.
And we're all around the tier.
We
Okay.
are the tier, and
Man.
the tier is us.
Okay, so I have an ask the couch question for this episode.
Oh, okay.
All right, if you were elected as a prince of Tir Tairngire, what prince song would be your theme song as prince of the tier?
Oh,
I'm
I'm gonna need to take a minute on this, so you
Yeah,
guys go ahead.
I have mine if you guys would like me to go first, to give you some time to refamiliarize yourself with the Prince catalog. Mine would be Let's Go Crazy, because I'm a fucking prince of the tier and I can do whatever the fuck I want at that point. So I feel like that would be a befitting theme song.
I am going to solidify myself as the heel of this podcast by saying, if you put a gun to my head and said, name any Prince song aside from Purple Rain, I'd be dead. I don't know any Prince songs.
Okay. See, so I don't want to try to oust you here.
No, I do it pretty well by myself.
You could have just said Purple Rain, and you could have said because it's my rain as the prince, and purple is a regal color, and we would have gone, wow, Tyler,
right.
that's a great
profound
answer.
Okay, but
you don't
forget,
need to oust
Austin,
yourself as not liking music.
Yeah,
because you don't
forget,
have two
Austin,
ears attached to
I
a
am
heart.
not as fucking smart as you are. Your big brain is so smart. I don't know these things. I'm not as clever.
Just lie to us, Tyler. That's all I want you to do. Just lie to us.
No, because I was like, if I say Purple Rain, they're gonna be like, fake fan.
No, man. You can like Purple Rain. If that's the only song you know, do it. No,
Okay.
there's no such thing as a fake fan of music. That's so gatekeepy, and I hate it. Never.
And
never.
There's no way that could happen.
No, not here. We're all friends.
Yes, all friends here.
Everyone's friends here in the tier
All right,
is their
so
slogan.
Tyler's answer is Purple Rain. Easy, what you
It
got?
is. It is.
You know,
Mhm.
I'm gonna be just kind of crazy with it. Yeah, and if I am a prince of the tier, then my prince song is I Want to Be Your Lover.
Ooh, okay.
Because I'm trying to bring us all together, okay?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also have as many offspring in order to solidify the royal bloodline to continue your power within
Gotta
the
keep it in the family. You know what I'm saying?
I never said that.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically. I mean, you're gonna put that out there. Clearly, it's better to have a long royal lineage because it stays in perpetuity.
Yes,
oh boy.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I want to be your lover.
You got to perpet that tuity, man.
You got to perpet your tuity.
You got to perpet your tuity.
I'm not comfortable.
Fair. I like.
And in that way, we've brought it back to the way that we normally operate here on this podcast.
Yeah. Someone hit their stopwatch of like when they complete every episode. When do they go off rails? Are they going to go off rails? We will go off rails.
Yes,
when?
It's when. No, that was a good question. I like that.
Yeah.
Listeners and patrons, let us know what your Prince song would be if you were on the Council of Princes.
Hashtag Prince of Tier.
Someone comes in with, I want to use Toto, but I want to bless the rains down into the tier.
You know what? I'll give it to him. Only the first person that does that, though. Everybody else,
the very first one.
Nah.
Everyone else, you're just posing.
You're out of luck.
First come, first serve basis.
First come, first serve.
You got to make it in before anybody else to stake your claim. That was good. I like that. That was very good. Very, very good.
And if they wanted to let us know what that option would be, easy, what are the alternatives and options available for them to get that information to us?
And
the best way to be able to get us this information and for you to be able to listen to your podcasts ahead of time, come on over and join our Patreon. You get all the cool little surprises. You get to listen to podcasts early. You get to be able to participate in our future Worm Talks, which we may be thinking about doing another one soon where we'll answer your questions. Not only that, you get a shout out at the end of our Sinless episodes, although we are kind of about to go into a hiatus, but you'll be there for the shout outs for season 2.
Yeah. You will be on the top of the list when season 2 comes around. When?
Exactly. And so the wonderful link is only $5 a month. Go to patreon.com and it's /critical_hits. Gets you all the bells and whistles. Everything that comes along great with this wonderful podcast that we are putting together. Filling your lore.
Filling your tank with lore or filling your lore?
Filling your brain with more lore.
Ooh, whoa. Lore juice.
Totally amazing.
Wow. Refreshing.
Brought to you by Quantum Berry Mountain Dew.
Oh my god, Quantum Berry. Yes. You can't forget Quantum Berry. And also the Mysterious Forces t-shirt. Are you in the know?
Please. I need like 10 of them, and they're all for me.
I feel like that's what should be on the back of the t-shirt. You've got Mysterious Forces on the front, and then "Are you in the know?" ? On the back.
Wake up, sheeple.
Wake up. You're part of the system. Well, guys, I think that's gonna wrap it up for Tairngire, unless you guys have any other pressing questions about living in the tier or what tier life is like.
No, checks out.
Okay, yeah. Don't commit crime in the tier.
Everything's awful.
There's only one crime in the tier. Don't commit it.
Treason.
It will be your last crime.
One and only.
Your one and only crime.
You begin and end with treason. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out with us this evening. I hope you have enjoyed all of this lore. I hope it's giving you more insight into the world of Shadowrun. And we will catch you all on the next one.
The Topps Company Inc. has sole ownership of the names, logo, artwork, marks, photographs, sound, audio, video, and or any proprietary materials used in connection with the game Shadowrun. The Topps Company Inc. has granted permission to Critical Hits to use such names, logos, artwork, photographs, sound, audio, video, and or any proprietary materials for promotional and informational purposes on its website, but does not endorse and is not affiliated with Critical Hits in any official capacity whatsoever.